Earlier this year, Apple previewed what's coming with iOS 18, and now iOS 18 I feel is one of those bigger softwares that everyone cares about because it impacts your iPad and your iPhone. And now, personally, I think this update is going to be one of the best we've had in a while. It combines productivity with creativity, and what I mean by that is Apple pretty much said, we know users have wanted these features for a while, we're going to give them to them as much as all these other features that are going to just change the way we interact with our Apple devices. Now, we're going to just get the elephant out of the room. Apple Intelligence. It's only available on iPhone 15 Pro and later, Pro Max, and the 16 series, as well as the iPads with M1 and later. So if you don't unfortunately have any of those devices, you're not going to get Apple Intelligence. And personally, I think Apple could have done more, but they wanted to keep it on device. And apparently that just means you need a lot of resources that only the newer phones have, which I find hard to believe, but not much we can do about it now. Now, why this update is so big with creativity, I feel like, is because Apple is finally letting users customize pretty much every spot of the user interface. So our home screens, we can now have large icons, different colored, and tint them, and make your home screen truly unique. You can also place apps wherever you want. And the fact that this took 18 years, I feel, is kind of unnecessary, but I do also understand why Apple has kept it with the grid, because it was easier for users to just use and understand, as you don't really have to have that, why is this app over here, and kind of everywhere. It was always apps are going to be in order, in their place, and everything had a place. Now you get free reign. We also got the ability to lock and hide apps. So to do this, you just press and hold on an app and click hide. And this will put it in the app library in a hidden folder that no one can get into unless they have your Face ID. And if you want to leave other apps like messages, photos, whatever, on your home screen, you can do so and just lock them. So you just do the same thing, press and hold, hit lock, and then this will allow you to Face ID every time you want to go into the app, so no one can get into it without your face, essentially, or passcode if you don't have an iPhone with Face ID turned on, or even if you have Touch ID, it'll use Touch ID. Now, we did also get a big upgrade to Control Center. So Control Center is now 4 pages, and you can customize the pages to how you want and put your toggles where you want them. So if you constantly use Do Not Disturb, you can make that bigger and set it to a specific focus mode. So if you're constantly using, let's say, the work Do Not Disturb mode, you can make that its own toggle instead of having to dig through settings, which I just think is so smart. We also got redesigned music controls and home, as well as a connectivity menu straight in Control Center. And third parties are going to be able to integrate into this to allow you to essentially have whatever toggles you may need right in the Control Center. You can also resize the toggles, so if you want one bigger or smaller, you can now do that. And with our lock screen, we can now change the buttons, because I don't know about you, the flashlight and camera that have been on my lock screen since the iPhone 10, so about 7 years now, has been useful, but personally, I just get into the camera by swiping over, so I could definitely change out that camera button for something else, which I will definitely be doing. Photos also got a big redesign, and personally, this has become a very controversial feature, and I think I'm gonna like it. I just don't know, as I haven't really spent a lot of time with it. I do have the iPadOS 18 beta on my iPad, but disclaimer, do not install this on your main device. I understand the public beta is out, but if there's a problem, Apple will pretty much not be able to help you until iOS 18 is released to the public, and you do sign that when you agree to the terms and conditions. So if there are any problems, you are on your own. Now, you can roll back to iPadOS 17 and iOS 17 if you want, but then again, you shouldn't be installing it because it is a beta, and there are going to be bugs, there are going to be issues, and if you have a problem with that, just wait a couple more months till September. I'm still personally running iOS 17, and honestly, I have no plans to upgrade my iPhone to iOS 18 until it's released for everyone, as, right, here's my home screen. So, I'm not lying to you, I don't have the beta on my phone. My iPad, I do, because I just don't use it enough that if there is a big issue, I know I'm not going to be in too much trouble. Now, the Photos app on the iPad, it just kind of feels very weird, and I do think it's going to take getting used to, as you kind of have all your photos and then kind of AI suggested photos down below, and then search, favorites, all those messages. Now, messages, also just got a very big upgrade, as we now have the ability to bold, underline, strike through text, and add these playful effects to make your message really stand out. So if you want to send, major news, you can have major essentially explode. If you want to do like let's go and then like raising the roof emoji, you can do that and have it essentially raise the emojis. And then if you're going to get blown away, you can have that explode. Tapbacks were also redesigned to be essentially just more like and given the ability to tap back with any emoji, because sometimes the heart, thumbs up, thumb down, exclamation point, haha, aren't the greatest at getting across what you want to get across, but now you don't have to worry about that. Now, another feature we've also talked about in relation to messages on the channel, and make sure you're subscribed if you haven't, because I definitely think when iOS 18 comes out and the iPhone 16 come out, there's going to be a lot of content behind this, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that. If you want to hit like and leave a comment while you're down there, I'd appreciate that as well. But messages via satellite. Now, I personally have not had to use satellite connectivity on my iPhone 14 or 15, knock on wood, but I definitely think the ability to now message people through a satellite, when you don't have service is great, as if you're outside, you can literally just point your phone at the sky and have it shadow. Now, this is something that I've talked about before on the channel, which is definitely going to be a great feature and kind of change the way we communicate, as if you're off the grid, you're not off the grid anymore, because you can send messages and still be in touch with people through iMessages. It also works for SMS and RCS messaging, and yes, you did hear that right. If you have a friend with an Android or green bubbles, they are now going to get such a better message experience. You're going to get typing indicators, read receipts, tap backs, audio messages, better photos, better videos, and it just is going to make the experience so much better. And hey, want to schedule send a message? Think of something at midnight and don't want to bother that coworker? You can now send that message and don't have to worry about it. I believe you can do up to 90 days in advance, but you can see it right in line just like you would with a normal message, and obviously because it's in the future, it's kept down at the bottom, but it's grayed out, and it's there because you'll be able to use it, and it'll automatically send as long as the iPhone is powered on and has signal. Now, Mail is also going to be redesigned completely later this year to be in categories and have a complete new view. So if you want to view just the important emails, you can go to Primary and view those. Safari got a big upgrade with highlights, and it's also going to be smarter to just kind of pull in the data that you want. So with highlights, it'll give you the location, the phone number, and navigation if you want to get there fast. With the reader view now, it's going to have a table of contents, and you can understand kind of what's going on before it. We also finally have gotten a passwords app. Now, if you use Apple keychains, you have the ability to essentially have all your passwords stored in their own app. So they're not in settings anymore, which did get a complete overhaul and a very slimmed down the user interface, which I just think is a great experience. But this password app works across all platforms, including Windows, so you don't have to worry about missing out on your passwords. If you're a Windows user and an iPhone user, you don't have to worry about that. Maps also gained topographical support, which I just think is such a very nice feature to have, especially going hand in hand with that messages via satellite feature. If you want to go off the grid and go hiking, you can now map it out through maps and even create your own routes. Now, Wallet is also bringing tap to cash. So just like you would name drop, you can essentially just tap to pay someone. Now, disclaimer, because this is how it works. Your iPhone has to be unlocked, okay? It has to use Face ID or Touch ID. You also have to confirm it. There is no way someone can just go boop and take your money. And it also only works with the Apple Cash card, so if you don't have that set up, you don't have to worry. Now, there's also new AirPod features, which we've gotten across the board with the shaking our head up, down, left, right to answer. So if you want to answer a call, you can shake yes. If you want to decline a call, you can shake no. Now, this is where I feel the productivity side of the iOS 18 upgrade comes in, as Notes is getting so much more powerful. So, to start off, we got Math Notes. And Math Notes is essentially the ability to do math straight from Notes. You can write on it on your iPad, or even just write with your iPhone and it'll solve it for you, just equal sign. And you can also label your expenses. So if you want to say, golf clubs are $100 and, golf balls are $200, and then add that together, you do golf balls plus golf bag or whatever equals, and it'll automatically solve it for you, and then you can let, your friends know or whoever, which is just so great. We also get the ability to have live audio transcription, which if you are recording and want to view what's being said, you can do that. And you can also collapse sections. So if you use headings in notes like I do, you can now collapse the sections so you don't have to have these gazillion long notes. We can also highlight notes, and I just think that's going to be such a great change. Now. The fact that I still have to say this 18 years later is the fact that we finally got a calculator app on the iPad. Now, this is my M1 iPad Air, and just having a calculator on the iPad, the official Apple calculator, has been so nice, and this does integrate with the math notes feature, so you don't have to worry about not having the math notes or, going to the notes app just because you want to do math. You could do it straight from the notes app or the calculator app. We also got Insight, which I've talked about before, but Insight allows you to view what's going on in channels, in the TV shows like Apple TV Plus, just like it would with Amazon Prime Video. Now, overall, these upgrades are coming to the same devices that support iOS 17, so no one is losing support. Really, the only features that you might not be getting are Apple Intelligence, but we'll have to see when those come out later this year in beta, how much better they make the Apple experience. I do believe they are going to be better, but I don't think it's going to completely revolutionize because some devices are being left behind, whether it be your iPhone, your Apple Watch, your HomePod, your Apple TV, that's just not going to get Apple Intelligence. That's kind of going to make the experience a little worse, I feel. But let me know what your thoughts are with a comment down below, as this is going to be such a big upgrade when it rolls out later this year. But I want you to remember, today's a good day to make a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.